we go.
There we go.
We're off.
Lights out.
Half an hour of racing underway. Good evening everyone and welcome to Baltic Blast, held here at ACM Racing. This is the 15th round of the rear mode trial season. We've got a 45-minute race this evening held at Barcelona with a 15-minute qualifying session which we are underway now. Just 13 minutes left as the first few drivers are coming across the start line to start their flying laps. We've got Eusebi first out of the pit lane, followed by John Gray in the number 14 Audi. Now you may be thinking, Baltic Blast, Barcelona, the two of those don't go well together. However, if you look at the top right hand corner, you can see that the track temperature is a mild 17 degrees with the air temperature an even cooler 13 degrees. So the track is cold and that is why it is called Baltic Blast. So with the tyre temps going to be down, the track temps are down, and the car's going to have a lot less airflow with the colder temperatures, etc, etc. It's going to be a more of a challenging one for these drivers tonight, but qualifying so far we've had some strong lap times put in with some drivers, for example Eusebi, as well as some of the others which we'll see very soon, putting into the 142s, which is not the most common sight to see at Barcelona, never mind in the cold weather as it is right now. Eusebi is on a flying lap at the moment. When I say flying, it is flying as he comes into the final sector of his starting lap. So you can see it on the left hand side. If I change that to be Delta times, you can see quite a big grid that we've got on tonight. We've got 30 drivers that are now in session qualifying, which is always good to see. And as I said, it is a 45-minute race. There's no mandatory pit stops or anything, so there will be plenty of time for drivers to have some battles and make their overtakes over time. But Debbie is about to cross the line for his first flying lap, and that will be a 1:43.1, sorry, with John Gray just behind, setting a 1:43.7, 6/10 down on Debbie's time, which is both very good lap times. You can see Mark Maz on the left hand side setting a 1:44.7 as well, so about 1 second back from John Gray and about 1.5 seconds back from Eusebi. So another driver who is showing some incredibly strong pace with us tonight is Chandler Williams in his number 3 Mustang. So he has just set a 1:42.9. He's the first of the pack to get into the 1:42s, but I do believe that we will get at least a few more drivers going into those times. And in practice, we did see quite a lot of drivers sort of being very close to each other. As I said, it's a pack of 30 cars on the grid this evening, and it was sort of about the first 10 cars in a second, and the second lot of 10 cars within a second as well. So top 20 to 25 were all within about 2.5 seconds of each other, which is pretty crazy, especially at a track like Barcelona. So obviously you can see on the left hand side now loads of drivers coming across the line doing the laps. You can see on the track map on the right hand side, everyone seems to be fairly spread out and setting the laps all well and good. No change at the top so far. Chandler Williams is currently 3/10 up on his lap, so is Eusebi, so that seems like Chandler will currently, as it stands, keep his first place position. Just looking further down the grid, it seems like we've got a couple other drivers who are setting some flying laps at the moment. Stuart Pryor and his Aston Martin is coming round to start sector 3 for his flying lap. Not currently set a lap, but I assume that he will be towards the top sort of 8 drivers on the grid this evening. Stuart Pryor, as we know, he's driven with us a lot. He's had about 3,000 laps with ACM over the course of a year and a half, so as we know, he is a good, consistent and clean driver, and so he'll be looking for a good result this evening. Lucas Hannock has been the star of the podium recently. He's been getting P3s, P1s, P2s in basically every race. So I think this race, my odds are placed on him being yet again on the podium. Now, as I've said, it's a difficult grid. McLaren, I don't know whether it's the best car here, but in the hands of Lucas Hannock, I'm sure it will be fairly decent. As he comes around the corner 5/10 up, that will put him to P2. Sorry, P3, as Chandler Williams and Eusebi have recently updated their laps, with Eusebi leading Chandler Williams by 10th, almost 2/10 with a 142.7. However, Chandler Williams currently on a flying lap. He's just finished his sector 1. He's in the middle of sector 2 now. He's already 3/10 up on his lap, so he's got a lot of time in that car as it goes wide and probably invalidates that lap. But as we've just seen, he has got a lot of time in that Mustang, and if he can put a solid lap together, he could be low 142s, maybe even 141s if that's not ambitious enough. But 8 minutes left to qualifying. It is still all to play for. So 19 cars have set a qualifying lap so far. Some drivers are still waiting to set their laps. Noah Ackerman is a strong driver that we've got here at ACM. He's driven quite a fair few amount of laps with us as well. He's recently come back from a holiday, so he's getting back into the sim rig, getting back into racing, and what better to do it than a track like Barcelona. An excellent livery on that BMW. A couple ACM logos on there as well, which is what we always love to see. And Green Gardens as a logo sponsor on the side. Now, you may be wondering, what is Green Gardens? Well, Green Gardens is a virtual sponsor in career mode, which is what this race and the past 15 races have all been about. So career mode, you can buy, sell, rent cars, you can get team sponsors, you can driver sponsors, you can enter teams, you can create teams. Everything you can imagine yourself doing in real life, you can do in ACC, and that is all possible on multiplayer only through acmracing.com. That is acm-racing.com. If you want to find out more information, head to the career section of the website. We have things like simulated carware, custom ballast is included in that, etc. And we have up to 5 or 6 races a week, and that is not only here at ACM. We have races with fellow partner communities such as Big Brain Racing, such as Simhaven, and there's loads to come. So if you want to get involved, just join our Discord or head over to the website. You can find the link to the Discord in the Twitch chat at the moment. So while I've been saying that then, Noah Ackerman did come across the finish line. As you can see that he finishes these laps now, but he came across the finish line in 8th place, about 2nd and 1/10 down on Eusebi's lap time. But I know for sure that he's got a little bit more time in him, and if he just gets one more 10th, then that places him up into P6. As I said, Stuart Pryor is on a fast lap, and he did do a fast lap. He did a 1:43.7, which is exactly where I predicted he would be, sort of top 8 area. He's P7 at the moment, with Elliot Barron just topping his time by 5,000th second in that Mercedes. Elliot Barron has been with us since a couple of weeks now at the start of career, and he's had a sort of a roller coaster of a ride really. In Monza he had an unlucky time with a few bad drivers. And he's had a couple good races recently as well. I think the other day he just came 3rd or maybe 4th of our endurance races. So he's had a good career so far, and he'll be looking to get into the top 5 this evening as well. So currently 1.3 seconds down on Thiago Donate, who's currently now got the fastest lap of the session. But I do think Elliot Barron has got some time in him, which he's got about 1/10 of as we're speaking. We'll go on board with the Mercedes for the rest of this lap. It does sound good, this Mercedes. Speaking of that, it's a very grid tonight as well. So you see on the left hand side we've got a couple of Lexus, we've got a couple Hondas, we've got a couple Porsches, Audis, Bentleys, old Lamborghinis. We've got everything in here this evening. There is not really one car that is sticking out as the most common, obviously. Mustang is dominating at the top. We've got Ferraris spread out across the grid, Mercedes, Aston Martins, and that's what's brilliant about Korea with the dynamic car market. You can have cars that are starting off quite low, and if so many people buy them, then their price rises with demand. It's all fun and games here at career mode. Obviously, you get to take part in racing, such as you'll see this evening. Elliot Barron goes across the line for another valid lap. That was a 43.3. It's just about 10th down from Joe Brady's currently at 5, and that separates himself from Stuart Pryor behind by about 4 or so tenths. But I know that Pryor's currently on a flying lap. He's about 1.5 seconds. He goes slightly wide, a bit of commentator's curse there. That'll probably invalidate his lap. So we'll have ways for the next one, which he's got plenty of time on. There's 4 minutes left of this qualifying session. As I said before, Stuart Pryor, very fast driver with us, very consistent as well. He's able to keep a cool head when he needs to, so I have no doubt that he'll be able to be at least able to find the 3 tenths. Raikkonen is another driver who I can be most complimentary of. He's had some good races with us, and he's also had some bad races with us, but he's at about 2,000 laps with us now. He's also made a big benefit of being part of the ACM Patreon as well. You can see the livery that he's running is made custom for him, sporting some of his own logos as well as the ACM logos, as by his request. But the driver from Finland is repping the Finnish flag, in case you couldn't tell that one. He's currently sat in P8 and only about 700ths down from Stuart Pryor in P7, so he's got a good bit of pace in him and not too much to improve to increase his positions. So, a driver that's done exceptionally well so far and is currently still improving is Thiago Donati in his Mustang. He is a teammate of Chandler Williams, who's currently in P3, also in the Mustang. In case you couldn't tell, that's where the teammates come from. He's currently on 142.4, about 3/10 faster than Debbie as it currently stands, and he's about 2/10 up on his lap as well, with an Audi just slightly in front of him. So with just under 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session, he's going to come across the line. He's going to set a 142.2, maybe even 142.1, and it is a 142.177. That's a very fast lap, and you can see him pulling over to the side, and he's done with qualifying. He's 5/10 up, and he is currently in provisional P1. So our provisional P2, what an excellent camera angle. Our provisional P2 stand-in is Eusebi. He's currently in the pit lane, so I don't think that he'll be going out for another lap. But he's currently on 142.7, about 6 or 5/10 down from Eusebi, from Donati at the moment, sorry. So he will be currently sat in provisional P2. Now, Chandler Williams, as I've said before, is a teammate of Thiago Donati. He's currently 7/10 down of his teammate's time in the Mustang. It was 42.8, and only about 2/10 down from Eusebi's lap time as well. So he needs to set a flying lap, and a flying lap at that if he wants to get at least P2 or P1, if he thinks he's got 7/10 in him. In the first few corners, no real gain, about 1/2 that he's got so far as he heads towards the second hairpin. Braking all the way up onto that white line there, keeping it nice and tidy on the apex of the corner, coming out nicely, no slip on the exit. Of course, that Mustang so powerful in the straight line as he brings it all the way to the right hand side of the track, swooping in left for the third hairpin of sector 1. He leaves the corner and heads towards what I would say is probably one of the more difficult sections of the track. It's very easy to go off here, it's very easy to get track limits, very easy to lose a car. He's done it all well and good, and he's still not improving on his lap, unfortunately. He's about 1/2 to 1/10 down now, but he gets a good exit on that corner, touching the grass slightly, and you see the Aston of Pryor in front of him. Or that's the Aston of Darkness, sorry, similar colours at the front of Aston Martins. Nevertheless, he's in the final sector now. Darkness in front has given way to him. He's about 1/10 up on his lap time. He's got a couple of corners left, a couple of difficult corners at that. You've got to get this one perfect. Hits the apex very nice. You've got to come across to the right hand side, switch back to the left hand side, and then again switch to the right hand side. He does all of that nicely, and he's still only about 1/10 equalises his lap time, so I'm not sure that he's going to go any higher in this qualifying session. With 30 seconds left, he's going to be able to do another lap, but whether he wants to do it is another question or not. John Gray, just behind, is also on a lap. He's just coming around the second hairpin of his lap, but he's currently only equalising his lap as well, so he's on 42.9 at the moment, and yeah, that's going to be it for John. Quite a lot of downshifts there, as you could hear. But that is again an excellent camera angle, but the end of qualifying for John Gray. So he's now in provisional P4. He's got not too much of a comfortable gap in front or behind. He's got about 1/10 in front and about 1/10 behind Lucas Hanak, who I was saying earlier is a very fast driver in his McLaren. He goes slightly wide there. That might have been an invalidated lap, and I think that is the end of his lap as it stands. Same with Noah Ackerman, you could see in the background, who wide and called it as the end of qualifying there. Only a few drivers who are left out on track towards the back of the grid who we haven't covered much. We've got Patrick Ramos for ST Racing. I believe that's an in-game livery. If not, it's an exceptionally well-made one. In the number 38 BMW, who's coming across, I believe he's on an invalid lap at the moment, but I might be wrong. He's currently 44.3, might have a couple more tenths in him, which would place him, you know, very close to the cars in front. He could be placing in P12 maybe, if he does gain on some time, but at the moment it's not looking like he will. He comes around the final corner, he's going to cross the finish line now. And no, he's not improved on his lap time, so he will finish in P15 provisionally with a 1:44.3. Mark Maz comes across the line for a 1:44.4, exactly the same lap time as Martez Kuzepa in front, 1:44.442 for both those drivers. That's P16 and P17 provisionally for those two, so an excellent result. Both drivers. Up at the front, Elliot Barron is the final driver to come across the finish line. He's going to not improve on his lap, and he stays in P6. So that is the qualifying session over now, as the grid has been set. Got a question in the chat about ballast. You can see the ballast on the screens now. Obviously this is part of career mode, so drivers are entitled to their car wear. Starts at -40 and it goes up to +40. You can see a couple of drivers are already starting to creep into the positive side, with Stuart Pryor on +1 kilograms. I personally have +17 kilograms. I'm not doing too well for my car wear, but you can see there quite a lot of drivers are across the board on the ballast. Now Yuzebi may seem that he's not got ballast, it's just because his car is on 0 kilograms, so after this race he will also be in the positive area. So it's not hard to get ballast in career mode. All you have to do is click a few buttons. It is literally a maximum of 3, and you've got a car that is between -25 and -40 kilograms. So if you're in this race and you want to get yourself some ballast, that is how you would do it. Unfortunately, we're on a bit of a terrible camera angle with this one here. I've been snookered by the inability to press drive. You can see a car 89 has got a 5-second penalty. I believe that is something from qualifying. I'll say good luck to the drivers and just tell them to take it steady into P1, to turn 1, sorry. Another 5-second penalty for car number 89. That's Savage, I believe. Got a 25-second penalty, which is interesting. It looks like he's got 3 penalties for blocking during qualifying. Car number 71 of Hansa Voss also gets a blocking during qualifying 5 seconds. So that is a lot of penalties that have been handed out from qualifying, which is not the best way to set the precedent for the start of the race. But there we have it. So 30 seconds left. I'm finally able to use my free cam. I was going to go down the grid, but unfortunately that's not going to be possible, so we'll go down it backwards and have a look at the cars setting off. So you can see the top sort of 5 or so cars there with the 2 Mustangs on the top right hand side. That's Donate and Williams. You've got Yuzebi in P2 there on the left hand side as well, followed by John Gray, and then number 14 Audi. Lucas Hanak following those up. Yeah, number 78 McLaren. Elliot Barron, number 6 Mercedes. Stuart Pryor, you finished in P7, with Nikinen in P8, so not too much difference from their qualifying originals for those drivers. As you see Hansa Voss in the bottom right as well. He's just pulling away and taking us with him. So you can see all the drivers heading down towards turn 1 now. Like I said, it's a varying grid, so see which spots they all come past. That is 2 yellow Ferraris. So you've got the Lexus there, you've got Mercedes, Aston Martin, Lamborghinis, an older Porsche, another older Porsche, an Audi, and that is the back of the grid. 1 car in the pit lane, I believe that's car number, they're not even here, but they're gone, so they will not be going with us this evening. Let's cut thing that you can actually see. So cars are on their formation lap, getting ready, getting the tyres warm, or at least as warm as they can, for the 45-minute race. As I said previously, Baltic Blast. It is not because we're in one of the Baltic countries, it is because it is cold weather. It is a blast of cold weather, and therefore it is a Baltic blast. So 13 degrees air temps, 14 degrees track temp. These tyres are going to be struggling during the start and may wear a lot easier as well. Drivers are going to be hoping that they've had enough practice to set their tyre pressures, and they're going to have to hope that it doesn't vary too much during the race as well. Now, it would have been a lot colder, preferably towards the bottom 10 degrees, but unfortunately ACC doesn't quite allow for such temperatures to be in there. Obviously we're at Barcelona, so the climate around the track is going to be quite hot. It is on the maximum amount of cloud cover that we can have, and is also set to 0 degrees, so this is what we've ended up with. That's a Baltic blast, not that cold, but very cold for Barcelona at least. See the cars weaving as they come down the final straight before they head into sector 3 of the formation lap. I'll have to try and find what will be the best camera angle for the start of this race. See, with just under 30 drivers on the grid, it's going to be a fairly stacked one. If you are watching, by the way, say hello in chat. If you want me to switch to a driver at any point, just let me know and I will do so. If you have any questions at any point about anything, such as career, about Uplay, or about tonight's race, then please just put it in the chat as well. So 45 minutes are underway. Hanso Voss has taken a bit of escape to the gravel there, just in ways of tyre wear. You can see a Bentley there as well, the number 77 Bentley. About mid-pack there in P17 as they're going to start. But we'll switch to the front runners then. So they are going to be heading down, rocketing into turn 1 with 28 cars behind them. Thiago Donate in his Mustang is going to be looking for a good start. Drivers will be holding 70 kilometers an hour now, and they'll be waiting for the green light as the countdown begins. The drivers are away. Thiago's had a good start, Eusebi's had a good start as well, covering off from John Gray behind. John Gray might have to dive to the inside, which he does, as Chandler Williams is now up in P2 as he's getting an excellent drag from his teammate. A little bit of a bump on the rear there as he goes all the way to the left hand side, blocking off John Gray's position as Eusebi retakes that back, and it looks like Elliot Barron's been spun a little bit behind, so that's unfortunate to see from him. Looks like a little bit of drivers gone off and taken the exit, but so far has not been too bad of a turn 1. Elliot Barron, as I said, has had an awful turn 1 with being knocked from the rear, and has got a little bit of front end damage, so he's got a lot to recover from this start. But it looks like the rest of the grid, besides one of the cars, I believe car number 69 is having a bit of network problems. Not the most stable of connections there. Or flashing regarding that one. The car number 230 is leading, that is Thiago Donate. You can see that he's got quite a sizable lead, and he's been given that lead by his teammate who is behind. Chandler Williams in that number 3 Mustang got an excellent start due to the drag given off by his teammate, so a little bit of rigged team standings there. But Eusebi behind is going to be fighting for the rest of this race to see what he can get back on this. John Gray has also not moved in positions. And then he looks to the inside of the corner, but he doesn't look, or doesn't go for the move. Hanek behind, he's about 4 seconds back. He's going to be looking to see what he can get out of it. Stuart Pryor, a little bit further back, it looks like number 77 has had a little bit of an off in that corner there. Hopefully nothing too major, as he's got it back going again. Everyone seems to have avoided him. But as I was saying, Stuart Pryor's got a little bit of gap to the cars in front, and that's Aston Martin, so he's going to have to be using his rear view mirror and seeing what he can defend from behind. That wing is massive, you can't see a thing, but that is a BMW of Noah Ackerman who is directly behind. We'll go on board with him and see what he can do down into turn 1. Looking for the inside line. It is a drag race between the two cars. Noah Ackerman will have the aero for this bit though, as he dives later on the brakes and he gets the move done perfectly into turn 1. Stuart Pryor's going to have a little bit of a look back, but was sort of blocked by the size of the BMW there. The no switch back for Stuart Pryor. Noah Ackerman's up into P6 as it currently stands. Pryor's going to be looking to gain back that position, with Ackerman trying to close the now 2-second gap to Hanek in front. So further back, Patrick Ramos has had a good start. He started in P15 and is now up in P11. So he's had an exceptional start. He's right behind Hansa Voss, who's got a 5-second penalty in that Honda. Obviously that 5-second penalty was from the qualifying session. He goes slightly wide there. Maybe giving Patrick Ramos a run down into this corner. Prize being overtaken again, and I believe that's by Hugh in front in his Mercedes. That was a move that was made into the corner. You can see here, as it goes over the inside, late on the brakes, and it executed well. Kelly's now looking at the inside of that move, but nothing on this corner. Obviously, we see pretty much every race a battle between Stuart Pryor and Joel Kelly, so I'm expecting this one to be at least fairly fruitful. Patrick Ramos still on the rear of Hansa Voss in his Honda up at the front. Still no change. Cars being a bit of a train down into the final corner. So now finishing lap 2 of this race. Chandler Williams still fending off from Eusebio. Thiago Dinarte a very sizable gap in front. John Gray is sticking with it. He's got about a second or so behind, sorry, half a second to Lucas Hanak behind. The pink and turquoise McLaren. Stuart Pryor still looking to get back on what he's lost from Human Ackerman, but he's not going to make a move into turn 1. He's a little bit too far back for that. Seems like another driver that lost out slightly from starting lap is Nikinen, who started in P8 and is now down in P20, so he's dropped down by 12 positions. And I think the other drivers maybe dropped down some more. Elliot Barron's now in P17, so he's managed to recover fairly well. He's got dropped 11 places so far. He's in P7 currently. Eusebio's obviously lost his place from the start to Chandler Williams after that insane start and drag down the start-finish straight. And give Chandler Williams the advantage in lap 1. Further back, major changes between drivers. Elliot Barron's fighting his way back up through the grid. You see is on the inside of Koska at the moment. He's made that move before the corner's even done. So excellent move by Barron. He's going to be looking to get back as much as he can as well. Now, an important factor for this evening is a lot of drivers will be focusing on their career goals. So drivers in career have specific sponsor targets to meet. If they're part of a team, they'll have an additional target to meet as well. So most drivers will have a driver sponsor and a team sponsor. The team sponsor paying slightly more, as well as the team owner paying them per race as well. So for good results, drivers are rewarded heavily. There's an Audi, that's had a little bit of a moment there. That is Vladimir Bukowski. In his number 213, getting all over the place on the outside there, as Nikon just gives him a little bit more room as he looks to the inside, but no move has been made. Elliot Barron again looking for a slight move on Maxime Cochiera, who's up in P15 in his old Porsche. As he goes around the outside, that's not going to be a good one for Elliot Barron. He's going to get the drag, but the Porsche is going to get an even bigger drag behind that. Behind the Mercedes, who's also behind the Porsche. It's a Porsche sandwich at the moment. Starting off with a 2019 version of the Porsche 911, I believe that is. As the Audi also looks up for a move inside behind. It's quite a lot of Porsches are stacking the grid. You see on the left hand side on the leaderboard, it's sort of a Porsche fest here, with the Lexus following slightly close behind. I'm going to stick with this battle at the moment as it is currently the closest. We've got battle up front that starts to spread out a little bit. You can see on the track map on the right hand side as the Porsche of, I believe that was Koska, has gone very wide and has lost out on all there, which is giving Daniel Owls, Nikinen, and I believe, oh, that's a bad incident there. As Maxime Cochiera has got taken out by Nikinen, I believe that was fairly horrific to see how angle on that. So yeah, Nikinen just crossed across the front of him and he goes dive bombing into Maxime Cochiera. Wow, that's not good to see. Maxime is going to have a lot of damage on his car. Nikinen is also going to get quite a hefty penalty. So this battle is going to continue later on, but it looks like Samuel and Ferrari and the Lamborghini had a little bit of a battle. You see Cochiera just in front there. It's not too much damage on that Porsche, thankfully, but I know there will be at least quite a lot that's across the front of Kairos Samuel there. But that shouldn't, no light shouldn't. He'll have at least 20 seconds of damage on that Porsche. He'll have lost a lot of time in there as well, but that's what happens when you get into contact. So back up front, Joe Kelly is still chasing behind Stuart Pryor. half a second down. Obviously, the leaders up front not changing too much. Thiago Donate about 2 seconds in front of Chandler Williams, about 1 second down. Nebian as well. John Gray's about 2 seconds back from that in his Audi. Lucas Hannock about half a second in line. So Noah Ackerman has got quite a little bit of rest now. He just has to look in his mirrors occasionally. He's not pulling away from Hume there as he was a little bit faster in the previous lap. Pryor and Kelly just behind. See what more Kelly at the moment. However, this is not what he sees, so during the race this is how he races. On the bonnet cam. Not a common approach to racing, but Kelly does prefer this one, so we'll see what he's seeing right now. Brakes this corner, you can see just how close that Mercedes and BMW are in front. That's Hume and Ackerman that are doing that. Declan Hume, the Mo Power Baby in Mercedes. It's the number 7 Mercedes. Now I didn't sync before the race, so I don't have your liveries. I do apologise, a little bit of a moment there for Declan Hume, but he's recovered it well. And as I was saying, if I don't have your liveries, I do apologise. I'm going to get them on next time. I think luckily I do have most, at least from what I've seen so far in the race. So Declan is going to be trying to recover from that little moment that he had. He's going to be rocking down into turn 1. About half a tenth down now from Noah Ackerman. As Pryor is about 5 seconds behind from that as well. The first 10 minutes of this race have come to conclusion. Most of the grid has spread out. A little bit of a battle behind towards the rear of the grid in P26, 25 between Michael Savage. It's actually darkness. His first start. So it's going to be a drag race down the start-finish route. The Ferrari of Janos just behind, looking for a move as well. There's a lot of damage on Michael Savage's McLaren as he gets overtaken down the first corner. He's probably not going to look for a move, but there's a three-way contact as the cars get sandwiched there, and Michael Savage carries on going. I think that probably will be a fairly hefty, if not a race disqualification for Michael Savage there. He's already got a 25-second penalty from qualifying, so that would be probably a penalty, if not qualification for Savage. Which is unfortunate to see, but deserved as always. When you cause contact, you do deserve to get penalised for it. So, back up front then, Eusebi is all over the rear of Chandler Williams and his free Mustang. Eusebi is probably not going to have much of an opportunity down into turn 1. That Mustang has quite significant straight line speed, as you can see him weaving down the straight there. Eusebi not bothering at all, as he just keeps to his line. Follows behind about 0.3, 0.6 seconds back. So obviously his time is all gained during the lap rather than down the straight. As I said before, that Mustang is very fast down those straights, and it's also a big car. So if Eusebi does want to overtake it, he's going to have to be careful to give the room. And similarly, Chandler Williams is also going to have to give the room if Eusebi gets far enough the inside. So there's a lot of time gained there from Eusebi on that. It looks like on the exit again, Chandler Williams is going to take the advantage. Behind Lucas Hannock is all over the rear of the Big Brain Racing Audi. Big Brain Racing Audi of John Gray. John Gray used to race quite a lot with us. Ultimately to just under 2,000 laps with us. So he's got quite a bit behind him. He's looking to restart that now. So it's good to have him fast couple races. And of course he is a fast driver. You can see he's in P4 at the moment. Lucas Hannock is no slow driver by any means. He's had consistent podium finishes as of recent. And I assume that he's going to be looking for the same today. Eusebi, John Gray, Williams and Narte going to be looking in their rear mirrors for picking third place. McLaren, but at the moment he sat in P5. And further back, looks like Ramos has had a little bit of a difficult time, but Will Gossel has had an excellent start. He's up 6 positions since the start, and he's now drag racing Patrick Ramos down into the third sector as he makes the move up inside. Nice and clean. I don't think BMW will get that back, but that was a good exit from the BMW there. As Will Gossel goes slightly wide. And the battle looks to have seeded there, but again wide from Will Gossel. He might retain the position. I think he will. No moves made into sector 3. There was a look at the inside from the BMW, nothing too solid. You see the Mercedes Elliott Barron behind me, very late on the brakes there. He's trying to recover from what he lost on that one turn one. Now, if I could make you guess which car would have the fastest speed trap speed, and by how much, what would your guess be? Tell you what, I won't allow you to guess, I'll just tell you it's the Lexus. 276 kilometers an hour down the start-finish straight. That is the fastest in the session. That is the fastest by over 2 kilometers an hour. So Chandler Williams in the Mustang, as I said before, Mustang fast down the straights, is still slower than this Lexus. So this Lexus has a very large advantage in the race, especially down the straight. So if you get into battle with Mr. Owls, you're not going to make a move down the straight. And if you make a move before a straight, you're going to have that move undone. But in the corners, it probably won't be as strong. Another statistic that I've got for you is Vladimir Bukovsky has made up in a lot of positions. He's gone up 13 places from his P29 qualifying, and he's now in P16. So if his sponsor bonus is to finish higher than he started, I can confidently say that he has matched that one. But obviously we don't know the driver sponsors live, at least, especially after the race. But I'm sure that the drivers, especially Eusebi, will be looking to get what they can. Now I do know that Eusebi's sponsor is to achieve at least top 25%. So if you take this race with 30 drivers, that would be top 7 drivers, and he's in P3 at the moment, so he's going to meet his sponsor target. He's a driver for Avocado Motorsports. So the founder of that team will be very happy with his performances, at least so far. Of course, half an hour left of this race. Anything can happen, and anything that can happen will happen. Hanax has closed up a little bit to John Gray. He's got 1.3 seconds now. It looks like Clara Samuel might have at the moment. Elliott Barron's in the pit lane, which is interesting. I'm not entirely sure what's happened to Elliott Barron. Looks like he's changed his setup slightly. I can find out what happened. No, he's gone wide on a call there. Potentially some contact between the BMW. Potentially not. So he's, I assumed, gone into the pit lane to repair some damage. After that, oh no, he's returned to pit lane. So interesting. But he's still there now, and he's dropping down the grid. So that might be the race over for Elliott Barron. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one now. But he will be the first DNF of this race if he is going to DNF. Down towards the rear. We still have 30 cars on the grid. Koska is making his way back up after his his wide moment earlier. He's currently on the rear of Patrick Ramos. The BMW we just had, just saw had a collision with Elliott Barron. Elliott Barron now in the pit lane. But he's about 0.4 seconds back on Ramos, as he makes a very, very over-aggressive lunge there. Almost comes into contact with the 38 BMW, and almost gives Nikinen the position behind as well. So obviously Nikinen, one of the fortunate worse outcomes from the start of the race. He's 18 at the moment. He's 909 at Ferrari, and he's looking to get in on the action that's happening in front. I'm going to switch back to Lucas Hanek, because again he's about 3 seconds back from John Gray as we head in towards the 10th lap of this race with 28 to go. As I've said before, if you're new here, send a message in the chat, let us know what's going on. If you want to switch to a driver, we'll do so. And if you want to get involved in the racing, the Discord is also in the chat. The QR code for the website is on the screen. You can scan that. I believe that'll take you to our website. You can find out information about the races in the front. As Montana goes wide, it loses a lot of time to go on the way there. Find out what races they're doing. Obviously, I'm on 5 or 6 races a week at the moment, so plenty on offer, plenty to do. The thing is, as well, if you also want to get into ACC, so of course Competizione, or you're looking to get into another sim racing game, it might be on Xbox console, it might be on Assetto Corsa, or you maybe want to get the greatest deals on the games you play is our title sponsor. You can see a little bit more left. You can also have a look at the link in the chat now. It is one of the best websites to get deals for sim racing games and games as an overall. No matter if you're looking for the newest games by a certain developer, or just looking to get old titles, or even some deals on Xbox Game Pass, the second you play always has it covered, and it has up to about 85% off. So if you're looking for ACC DLCs, if you're looking for ACC itself, you can get it for a steal. Now back to the action with Lucas Hannock and John Gray. Lucas Hannock has had an exceptional run in his final excursion. At the previous lap he's still not 1-3 behind, but he's closing ever so quickly on John Gray. Seems to be losing the Audi a little bit here, even going down this traction. Should be a little bit lighter on the throttle as he comes out of corners, and the Audi is very twitchy as Lucas Hannock is certainly pushing. He goes wide again and loses out. That's good penalty to John Gray. To get a good corner here, and he wants to have the Audi. You see the Audi again out in London on the outside of that corner. A bit of a counter steer. Maybe even again there, like you see that rear end is all over the place. So John Gray really needs to close the Audi if he wants to keep his pole position as it stands. I think these two drivers are losing out a lot of time to John Gray. To Giuseppe. That's 6 seconds now. What was only a second about 3 laps ago. Sorry, maybe about 5 laps ago. Maybe even obviously you see John Gray's slightly wide. Hannock's going to take the most of that because Hannock's going to take the apex of both corners, which is over the curve for John Gray. He's going to have a good exit here though, might have the lifts. Doesn't lift either to the bend. Be a drag race down into the bend. John Gray trying to break that slip rim a little bit. Hannock trying to stay in it, about 3 tenths down, and then both drivers about full on speed. Getting some penalties for some drivers soon enough. We've got live stewarding today. Some drivers will be getting their penalty applied soon. So we've got a 5-second penalty for Nikon, 15-second penalty for Myra Samuel, and then a 7-second penalty for 28. A 10-second penalty. Lucas Hannock is all over the rear of John Gray. Far. Zeppa has also got a 5-second penalty for 75. So far. Obviously we're only just getting towards the halfway mark of this race, and the grid has not changed too much up front, but a lot of impact battles have gone on. Most of the gaps are starting to spread out a little bit now. You can see there's about 2 or 3 seconds between each driver. Obviously Barcelona is quite a large track, that's the first thing you're expecting to happen. Looks like I think Baron's still on the inside there. Oscar Blue from 44 is a Baron's car. Drivers behind. Lucas Hannock still no move on John Gray, but 4 seconds down the start finish straight that he is now. See what he can do in some morning late on the brakes. He's hit the apex perfectly. There's a bit of a slide from John Gray in front. Keep the Audi as straight as he can at the moment. He's having a little bit on the brakes, and that's a drift all the way around the corner there. And Hannock's going to make the most of that on the exit here. He's gaining. I don't think he's going to be a move here unless he makes an absolute dive bomb. He doesn't. As I said before, Lucas Hannock got a cool head. He's obviously composed in moments like these. I think this could end up being a fairly good battle between these drivers. Both drivers, we know from history, both very clean, both very consistent, both very fast. So Hannock is all over the net consistently. John Gray perhaps feeling the pressure with the amount of sliding he's going to do. He does keep it clean through this corner. He did dodge the effects on the previous corner, which I did notice as well. This time, a little bit of a twitch on the rear, but he's kept it clean as well. Maybe sacrificing the exits a slight bit, but he's getting much better lap times as a result of the long sliding. Lucas Hannock is still all over the rear, looking to get what he can. Keeping a tighter line than John Gray, so it looks like John Gray's a bit better rated there. Again, difference in lines going through those corners. John Gray's wide, as the rear of the car goes wide as well. Both corners, both cars hit that perfectly. John Gray goes slightly wider on the curves. We get a good exit. Then with Hannock, and that was pretty much a mirror to the past 5 laps that we've had. So I'm going to cut to a different battle. Cut to Declan Hume and Noah Ackerman to see what they're doing. So the gap's extended now slightly, and the gap between Lucas Hannock and John Gray is the same again. I'm going to try and keep my eyes on that because I don't want to miss out, but it looks like it might be the same majority of the upcoming laps. You can see Nikon is on the rear of that Lexus, but as I was saying earlier, the Lexus is very fast out of this race, so if Nikon expects to get anywhere close, he's going to be wrong. Now these corners is where he's going to be getting in time. As you can see, it did get a lot into the braking point. Takes a significantly wider line, trying to keep that car on the apex. He has a little bit of a twitch, and that might have given Nikon the edge over him as he comes down to the end of sector. When he looks to the inside, probably not going to make a dive, but he does make a dive. He's gone up the inside, and he's made that move stick perfectly. There's a big slide from that Lexus behind, and that's given the position back to Nikon. So now he needs to get as far away as possible before the next straight, so that he can dodge the missile that is the Lexus. So we are now officially in the second half of this race. We've still got 28 drivers on the grid. Looks like Sachin Darkness is in the pit lane, which is a shame to see, as he was having a very good race as it was currently. Still looks like no change between Lucas Hannock and John Gray. He's closer down into turn 1, but still no move probably going to be made between these drivers. 0.3, 0.2 tenths down into the third corner. See a long sweeping right-hander. It's difficult to get right here at Barcelona, but if you do get it right, you can have a blistering exit. You can have good speed down into the second hairpin of the lap. You see Hannock getting a very good corner there, again at least a little bit of time on John Gray as he goes down into the third hairpin of the lap. Again, difference in lines that these drivers are taking. Hannock taking a slightly wider line, probably trying to get as much of an exit as he can against the Audi. Not going to be beneficial this time, but again he's going to take a wider line going into this corner. He's try and keep it steadier than the Audi is. Going to gain some time doing it as well. He's now got 0.2 tenths, which is closer than he's been these previous couple of laps, as we head now down into the sector 3 of lap 15. Let's see, about the same on the brakes. Again, Hannock taking that wider line than the Audi, trying to get some form of a switch back on the Audi, at least exit. Both drivers similar sort of line, a little bit wider for the 14 Audi, but cuts back nicely. There's a little bit of slide from Lucas Hannock, Samsung McLaren. Again, another bit of a slide that lost him a little bit of time as he hit the sausage curb on the inside. Again, similar sort of exits for both cars, and it will be again another mirrored lap where they're about 0.3 seconds between each other. Now, Hume was quite close to Ackerman throughout this lap, but he did let off a couple tenths going through sector 3 there, so no change can be made there. Hanzo Voss is all over the rear of Stuart Pryor. Stuart Pryor at some point has given way to Joel Kelly, who's now 3 seconds in front of him. Lukinov behind has quite a comfortable gap in front and behind. He's got 6 seconds behind, 6 seconds in front, so he's just running his own race at the moment. Bikovsky, one of the drivers who's gained the most positions during the race so far, is now currently up in E14. He's got that second in front and about 0.3 seconds behind Nikkonen. Nikkonen potentially trying to go for the move there, but nothing too fruitful so far. Debbie's dropped back slightly from Chandler Williams, who we saw at the start of the excellent start and slipstream down the start-finish straight. So there's about 1 second between Zebby and Chandler Williams at the moment. See what else is going on. So Kowski and Nike are still having a little bit of a battle. Michalek is having a battle with the yellow Ferrari of Kazepa. There was a little bit of a switchback for that yellow Ferrari as Roman went slightly wide in his Mercedes, but it's going to be a battle between those two with a slight door bang between them as they go into this corner. It's going to be Kazepa with the position again there. Further up front, still no position change. These two drivers are having consistent battles with each other. Looks like Nikon has now got past Bukowski. I'll see if we can see what move is being made there. So nothing into sector 3. It looks like the Audi went slightly wide. He's got his hazards on as well as he goes wide there. Potentially a switch back from the Ferrari as he gets a good corner there. Audi goes wide, and yeah, that looks like that was where the position was made. Kind of a 44. Has got a yellow flag. He's in the barrier. That's not good to see. And it looks like Bukowski is now in the pit lane, which is also interesting to see. Of course, we saw him flashing his hazards, so potentially. Oh, he's got a drive through. That's why. I believe that might be because of race penalties that have been applied. So I'm not too sure. Could be for anything, but he has got a drive through at one point. So he's served that, and he's now down in P21 as he sort of drops down into P22 from Ferrari there. Sorry, from Janos in the Ferrari. A bit confusing when you've got Alita Ferrari in Lamborghini, but there it is. Further up front, again, 0.3 seconds between these two drivers, no major change at the moment. Still going down the start-finish straight, still the same amount of distance between the two. Seems like two cars are similar on speed as well, so there's going to be no moves, at least down into turn 1, unless Hanek can get so close during sector 3. Both drivers about equal on the brakes again. I mean, at least we can say that these drivers are consistent. I mean, if this doesn't prove how consistent they are, then I don't know what does, because to be honest, if you can stay within 0.3 seconds of someone for an entire half an hour, then your safety rating is going to be boosted by quite a lot, especially at this speed. Now, someone who we haven't covered in the majority of this race, mainly because they've been having a quiet race up in P1, is Thiago Donate. He's won probably about 90% of the races he's participated in at ACM. A very fast driver, he's got a very fast teammate as well. Chandler Williams just behind in the number 3 Mustang, has got quite a lot of pace on him, and both drivers are in P1 and P2 as it currently stands. So that's going to be another win for Thiago Donate, but nevertheless that is a position around the outside from Lucas Hanek there as he gets it done, and he's now in front of John Gray. So that is a position change and a position that is being made. We'll try and have a look and see what happened here. We'll go on board with Lucas Hanek for this. Potentially a mistake on the exit or the entry of this next corner from John Gray has given Lucas Hanek inside line. It looks like, yeah, a little bit of a twitch on the entry, and that's given Hanek the absolute blister of pace that he needs down the outside and round for the next corner, which is exactly what he did. That was the opportunity he needed, and that was the opportunity that he took exactly how it was meant to be. So now he's got a little bit of clean air in front to try and catch, or at least get away from John Gray, who's now at least a second behind. But they are coming into blue flag territory. You can see the two blue flags actually bottom of the screen. That is Maple and I believe Cosciera that are having a battle, the two Porsches there. Different generations of Porsches, but Maple does go through and gain that position. They are going to have to give way to Lucas Hanek in P4 at some point. Cosciera with a 10-second penalty just pulls wide after flashing Maple a little bit and allows Lucas Hanek to go through. I believe he'll allow John Gray to go through, and he does. Nicely done there. Patrick Ramos is about 1.6 seconds back from the Porsche Coxer, and that is probably the closest that we've got on track at the moment. Everyone has spread out towards these final third of the race. It looks like most of the penalties have now been applied, bar a 5-second penalty for Mr. Saction Darkness, who I believe has left the game. So that will be applied post-race. Yeah, a little bit of a dive there from Patrick Ramos. He goes wide in the corner, but he's gained time on Coxer in front. That 777 Porsche has gone wide on this corner again, potentially just maybe allowing the BMW to go through, but that is the BMW making contacts on the rear of the Porsche and losing out by about 5 seconds in the process. So that's given Samuel a bit of a lead too. And this is a rather odd camera angle because cars are usually left-hand drive, but the Bentley in ACC is right-hand drive, as you can see there. Caro Samuel in the driver's seat, on the right-hand driver's seat. He's currently in P18 with a 15-second penalty. As it currently stands, that will put him in P19. But so long as he can gain at least 3 seconds on the driver behind, he'll be staying in P18. Luke's Hanak. Hanak is in the pit lane. I have no idea what for, but he is in the pit lane. It looks like he has just gone in, which is interesting. I don't know why you'd do that after such a long battle with John Gray. He's gone into the pit lane, so I don't know if he's ran out of fuel or he's had some damage or what, but he's gone into the pit lane. He's stopped in his pit box, and he's still there as it currently stands. Time stop 30 seconds now, and he's going again. So yeah, he's done a pit stop, which obviously isn't required of these drivers. There's no mandatory pit stop required, no refueling required or anything of the sorts. Obviously, if you want to refuel, you can. Which, I mean, I don't know. He's changed his tyres, which is an interesting strategy to say the least. That'll lose him out quite a lot. He's now down in P16, moving to P17 there as he emerges. That's down 12 positions now, so very bizarre manoeuvre from Tanak there. We'll have to catch up with him after the race and see what the thought process behind that was, or what the reasoning was for that. But that's given John Gray the give back into P4 now, and Noah Ackerman up into P5. Back in with the action then. Declan Hume is currently the closest on track we've got. He's about 0.7 seconds back from Ackerman, as he has been for the past sort of half an hour, because we saw Ackerman make a move earlier on in the race. The drivers now behind him, of course. 9 minutes left of this race. Seems like the grid is fairly solidified, bar the penalties that are yet to be applied. Nikinen will be currently in P13 if he stays where he is. Sorry, he's got 25-second penalty, so Nikinen will be in sort of about P16 area compared to his current P12. That'll boost up Gossel, Als, Coxer, and maybe even Ramos in his new position. Another driver that will be going down is Caro Samuel, and he's got 11 seconds behind the Janos once again. At least 3 or 4 seconds if he wants to keep his P18 position. Coxer with another 5 seconds. He's currently using that position to Ramos behind, who's just within that 5-second gap. Looks like car 75 is moving speed, and that's Kazepa, who's been disqualified for some reason. We saw him having a little bit of battle earlier, but I'm not entirely sure his name is for. So Lucas Hanak maybe just being the goat by letting us have some action for these last 10 minutes here, as there's a car, I believe, on the inside going slow, as both cars sort of have to avoid that there. But Lucas Hanak has returned to the pit lane. Sorry, he's did a pit stop, which means that he's now fighting to get some positions back, which has given us something to compensate over. So what we'll do is we'll go on board with Lucas Hanak in 17 to McLaren. We've got a battle with Patrick Ramos in the 30 BMW. It's a worse thing compared to Hanak here. Covering the inside, it looks like it might not be enough. Depends on which driver can get the better exit here, as Hanak goes slightly over the track limits. He's flashing the driver in front. He looks to the outside line. He brakes slightly later, and he's potentially going to look for the switch back here. Very powerful corner to get switch back. It's blocked by the BMW. It's minor contact made on the rear. Nothing too significant. Again, he's got to slam the brakes and try and dodge that BMW. So no position gain so far, but he is all over the rear, and he is flashing to his heart's content as well. So again, looking left, looking right. He's not going to move there. He's probably going to make a move into the final few corners. It's aggressive defending from corner 38. He goes wide. He's going to go over the corner wide. He's going to defend the inside again, but he's not going to be able to do much. Panic coming around the final corner and past him straight. So that is how easy it is to get a position. There's both cars behind go wide. After that battle, Cara Samuel has caught up at least 5 seconds, as both himself and Janos behind have now got a drive-through. So BMW is flashing Hanek for whatever reason, and Cara Samuel looks for a move at the inside. However, he's got a drive-through, so probably not the smartest idea to lose more time battling, but he's going around the outside and he's adamant with it. He's kept it on the inside. He's still on the inside, and he makes some minor contact on the rear, almost does it again, and he slips in behind. So he's going to have to save his drive-through at some point. Janos is doing his at the moment. And that was a little bit of a chaotic few minutes there, which is always good to see towards the end. But Nikinen is now 0.2 seconds, 0.3 seconds back on Mark Maz. Mark Maz doing exceptionally well in P11 at the moment. It's a battle between the Ferraris. It looks like Mark Maz has just given that position away, which is completely fair. There's no need to battle that race. There's no need to battle that. Nikinen's obviously got a 25-second penalty, so no matter how much time Mark Maz loses in these final 6 minutes, he's still going to have that position no matter what. And I don't think he's going to gain the 80 seconds to look in front. So he's just let that position go, and he's going to benefit from following behind Nikinen. So Nikinen, as we know, very fast driver at ACM, the Finnish driver with the Finnish livery in Ferrari. It's now up into provisional P11, of course. Penalties being applied, that'll put him down towards P15, P16. Cara Samuel is still all over the rear of that BMW, but I think he will probably go into the pit lane at this stage of the race. Not without looking at the inside, at least though. As yes, he does go into the pit lane now to serve his drive-through. It's a bit of a bumpy entry for that Bentley, but nothing that Bentley can't handle, and he's into the pit lane, no speeding, so he won't get any further penalties. So, closest battle on track is still Declan Hume versus Noah Ackerman's battle of 5.4 seconds between these guys. It should hopefully be a decent battle towards the end here. It's BMW versus Mercedes. Battle of the ages, this one. Now is an Audi to get involved as well. Which typically the one in front is, however, that is 11 seconds in front of John Gray, so I'm not sure there will be too much battling going on in these 4 minutes unless John Gray makes a stupid mistake, which I don't think he will, because he is a clean driver, as we know. So, go on board with Declan Hume then for his final 3 laps of the race. He's 0.4 seconds back from Noah Ackerman. He's going to be trying to get everything he can down this track. So Mercedes, very powerful car. Basically be what it pleases here. Of course, not as powerful as Lexus or Mustang, but against BMW it has got a fair battle. It's a lot later on the brakes in turn 1. He's got a wider line into turn 3, so he's not going to be able to stick with that apex probably as much as he wants to. But don't forget, the tyres are going to be worn down, as we said previously. At Baltic Blast, it is a cold race. We've got 19 degrees track temp, 13 degrees air temp. Track's got 1 degree hotter. So far it's got 2 degrees hotter in practice. You see Ackerman having a little bit of a slide there on the exit. Perhaps battling with his tyres for some life towards the end of this race. But both drivers edging closer to each other. Technically, some clean air on the inside there as he positions that are available to him. No major move being made here, but he is a lot closer. Seconds to separate these drivers. Said he uses all of the curves if possible. He loses out a little bit at a time though. This is of course being no Ackerman's game in the day. Very unsteady from that Mercedes there. A little bit twitchy on the exit, I must say. It looks like no position in at least this lap. You can see the big effects of front and a little bit of battle. They might have a little bit of effect of this battle going on. And then he hits the sausage coming inside, so it goes slightly wide. He's not 6 seconds behind Ackerman. Head into second last lap of this race. Something into perspective for you guys, Thiago Donate, who's got the fastest lap of the race with a 1:42.9, is all the way in the middle of sector 2 already with drivers such as Joel Kelly just in sector 1. So 30 to 40 seconds separate these drivers. It's been 45 minutes. So the pace that Thiago Donate has got is absolutely insane. And not to mention his teammate Chandler Williams and Giuseppe being able to stay within 4 seconds of him. You see the thing of Thiago Donate just in front there. And Giuseppe has been chasing down Chandler Williams for the majority of this race. Nothing crucial yet, of course, but a few minutes left. Anything can happen. Looks like Declan Hume has dropped way back. Might have been always a reason, like the Lamborghini Ferrari going to give way on the inside there. Slightly awkward. That's going to be a worse corner for Declan. As he's going to be dropping further back from Noah Ackerman. Carlos Samuel is all over the back of McCulloch. He's have speed down straight in that Bentley, and it's going to be a battle of who brakes latest, as it looks like it will be the Bentley on the inside of that corner. He meets the apex and he's got the position done, so that was a nice clean move from Carlos Samuel. Probably going to keep it considering the line that Mercedes took here, as he gets a better exit in front, and that will be the position gain for Carlos Samuel. Keep in mind he does have a 15-second penalty, so what the position that he's gained on track now will be removed again, and I think he'll be dropped down probably into P22 after that 15-second penalty has been applied. Nikinen has got another 5-second penalty, for whatever reason that may be. He's now currently got a 30-second penalty, which will put him all the way in P17, so he's lost out a lot of time from this race from penalties, so he's going to have to consider what he can do better next time. It does look like, thankfully, all the incidents have been caught up with, which is good to see, so we're going to finish the race with all penalties as expected. As Declan Hume is still battling his way through blue flags, trying to keep in contact with Ackerman in front, but as this is now going to be the final lap for all drivers, Thiago Donate comes across the finish line and takes a very commanding and very well deserved win in his number 230 Mustang. One excellent performance, fastest lap of the race, fastest lap of qualifying. No thinking twice about any of it. He didn't lose a single position in the race. He aided his teammate on the start as his teammate gives him a little friendly nudge. At the end there, Giuseppe also gives him a little friendly flash to say well done. You see the Audi, I believe that's Bukowski having a little bit of drift as well. So Giuseppe finishes P3 with John Gray finishing in P4. And excellent performance from both drivers, a bit of a celebratory flash. John Gray as well. Noah Ackerman finishes in P5 ahead of Declan Hume by just a few seconds. I believe that was a second across the finish line. Kelly finishes ahead of Pryor, P7 and P8 respectively. Hansa Voss in his Honda has a much more improved race result compared to yesterday in P9. Lukinov finishes out the top 10 in his Aston Martin, with Nikinen behind, obviously going to be placed a lot further down than his P11 position as he slams it into the wall, probably out of frustration for his performance today, but that is understandable as Mark Miles crosses the finish line to go into P10. Will Gossel crosses the finish line in P12, Als crosses the finish line in P13, Hanek crosses the finish line in second. To come out in P15. Koska is going to finish in P16 with Ramos in P17, rounding out the leading lap and the end of 45 minutes of Baltic Blast. So that has been a phenomenal race. We'll try and catch up with some of the drivers this evening and see what they have to say about things. Giuseppe is saying well done to Chandler Williams and Thiago Donate for an excellent performance, as that is the end of the race as it currently stands. So well done to all drivers. and that will be the end of Baltic Blast. So if you want to get involved, we will be back here tomorrow at 3 PM UTC for 2 hours of Kailami. It's partnered with Simhaven. So if you want to get involved with that, scan the QR code, get involved. Till then, have yourselves a good Friday evening and a good Saturday morning, and I hope you enjoyed the race.
Here we go.
There we go.
We're off.
Lights out.
Half an hour of racing underway.